Okay, here you go, babe.
You just want me to put it on the table?
Yeah.
We're retiring at 40 and moving abroad. We get a lot of weird looks when we tell people that, and the first question is always, why? Followed by related questions like, what about your daughter's education? What about making an income? And the big one, what about health insurance? I'm kidding, but some people really worry about that. Then they get around to, well, where are you going? As if there's no better place to be. When I tell them, I usually get back, where's that? We've been planning an early retirement for a while now. This is not something that just popped into our heads a few months ago. When we've been headed down this path for at least 10 years or more, we didn't always know exactly when or where we would retire to. That's had an evolution of its own over the past decade. But we always knew that it was a priority for us. Having this long-term goal kind of gave us a North Star we always looked towards when we had big decisions to make. One of the biggest benefits we got out of having this idea was that we were living with intentionality. We had an anchor that grounded us when we faced big decisions. We could save a large amount of our paychecks knowing what it would buy us in the future. It would buy us time and choice. That was our number one priority. We wanted to be able to have the time and choice to raise our daughter however we thought best. We wanted the time and choice to spend our healthy adult years doing what we wanted on our schedule, not anyone else's. Of course, this comes with sacrifices that others may not be willing to make, but as Paula Pant says, you can afford anything, just not everything. Moving out of the US comes with benefits that can be harder to find if you don't stray very far from home. Moving away can help us define the next chapter of our post-career lives. It'll break the routine we've gotten used to during the past 20 years of work and life in the suburbs. I'm sure your days probably aren't too different than ours either. But after doing this routine year after year, we're ready for a drastic change. Vacations are great and we take a lot of them, but they always end the same way. Back to the routine so quickly. Living in a foreign country will be a needed change of scenery. The suburbs serve their purpose to an extent, but we're ready for a different pace of life. We don't want to be trapped by needing to drive everywhere in a car. I want to live in a walkable community, but also be near the beach, close to tropical forests, and a short flight away to many other destinations we've yet to explore. Our weekends might be filled with island hopping, diving, surfing, hiking, eating new foods, finding new hobbies. That's pretty hard to find in the US, and if you do, it's pretty expensive to stay there very long. A lot of people say health is wealth. That's because it's true. It's also something that a lot of us tend to lose track of time to time. I know myself over the last 20 years have had ups and downs. I get really motivated to get healthy. I set goals, put more effort into eating healthier, and it works as it should for a while. Until it doesn't, because life gets in the way. Quarter-end deadlines, work fire drills, schedule conflicts, work travel. All of these things can be the one thing that derails me. I know some people are very disciplined in not letting those things get in the way. I haven't been one of them. We're looking forward to now making a healthy lifestyle a priority like it should have been all along. I really think early retirement will help us finally find a healthy, steady state that will set us up well for the rest of our lives. We want to add years to our life and life to our years. Speaking of getting rid of extra unwanted weight, let me tell you the other thing that we're shedding a massive amount of. All of our stuff. Furniture, dishes, clothes, books, sports gear, junk in the garage, junk in the basement. Almost everything I've ever owned. It's gone. For good. People say, you don't own your stuff, it owns you. I couldn't agree more. And I don't even think we had that much compared to most people. People buy a new house sometimes because they need a bigger garage for the extra car they don't drive very often, or to store all the stuff in their garage that's not big enough to fit their cars. It's never ending sometimes. My neighbor saw we were moving and said, I haven't moved in 40 years, mainly because I don't know what I would do with all of my stuff. I'll tell you this, being able to pack everything I own in a few boxes is so liberating. No maintenance or storage, No clutter, no strings attached, obligating me to use something more so I can get the value out of it. It frees up so much space in your mind to focus on the here and the now. Honestly, that's more valuable than freeing up space in the garage. One of the biggest pieces of early retirement equation is cost. How much money do we need? Well, if your investments can make more money than you need to spend, that's a pretty good start. So finding a place that can give you everything I've already mentioned at an unbeatable price sounds like a fantasy, but it's not. It's just really far away sometimes. Southeast Asia is one of the cheapest places in the world to live. There's so many amazing places in that part of the world. We're headed to Bali. Bali has great international school choices for our daughter to get an education I couldn't have even dreamed of when I was her age. The accommodation choices, far more bang for the buck than anywhere in the US and most other places around the world. The food, extremely cheap, usually made from scratch, with far less fast food options. Actually, the usual fast food places we're used to seeing around here, they're available there, but more expensive than the local places. All in all, we'll be spending significantly less money on our new lifestyle in Bali, including tuition, than we spend here. And we'll actually spend more time vacationing. What more can you ask for, right? Yes, I know. There's more than a handful of you watching this right now saying, but what about health insurance? Thinking that will break the bank. You think that because it's expensive in the US for all the wrong reasons. But I can get comprehensive health insurance with lower out-of-pocket costs for about the same premiums as I paid through my job when they subsidize 80% of that cost. It's just so much easier to account for healthcare outside of the US. At this point, I just want to say that this is in no way meant to bash on the US or say that you can't be happy there. Of course you can. American prosperity is what allowed us to be in the position we're in now. For us, our journey just happens to be taking us international. You want to know another secret to retiring early? Make your money in America, spend it somewhere else. The dollar goes a lot further in other places around the world.
Time, weather, and...
Highways.